Hi guys, it's Matthew here. Welcome back to another video on my channel today. And in today's video, guys, is another ranking video, as a matter of fact. I actually just got done watching all 14 different Spider-Man movies that are connected to the Spider-Man universe, as a matter of fact. And so I thought it's time to do a ranking of all these movies. So all of these include the Tobey Maguire ones, the Andrew Garfield ones, the Tom Holland ones, the two Spider-Verse movies, and all four of the Spider-Man villain spin-off movies, as a matter of fact, just to let you guys all know. And I'm really excited to dive in to do a ranking of all these movies because I've never done it before, and sorry guys, my screen froze there for a second. And I'm not like a gigantic Spider-Man fan, but I do enjoy a good chunk of these movies, but I'm not like over the board of it. I'm more of a fan of the MCU when it comes to Marvel, but like I said, I enjoy a good chunk of these movies as well, as a matter of fact. But with that said though, guys, be sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with your friends, because that'd really help out my channel greatly. And also, guys, those of you guys that are new to the channel, I do more than just movies and physical media related content. I also play video games, and I do Lego related stuff. I do all sorts of stuff like that here on the channel, guys. So if that kind of stuff is your speed to watch on YouTube, guys, please make sure you go watch a couple of my other videos. Give a couple of my other videos a chance, guys. And if you do end up liking this channel, guys, please make sure you click that red subscribe button. But most importantly, press that notification bell so you don't miss anything in the future. And those of you guys that are not new to the channel, if you haven't subscribed already, please make sure you go subscribe right after this video, guys. So without any further ado, guys, enjoy the video. Let's get started. Okay. So coming in last place at number 14, I have to give it to Venom: Let There Be Carnage. What an absolute crap show of a movie. And this sequel was done very poorly, if you were to ask me. So now I've never been a huge fan of Venom, and this particular movie made me even like him less. Because if you were to ask me, I think that this movie is horribly written. This movie was not well done. It wasn't well received that well at all. And in my opinion, this movie didn't really have much of a storyline. Like it just felt like they rehashed the first Venom, and so when they made this movie, it was like, what would a Venom movie look like if we rehashed the first Venom, brought in Carnage, and we were focused more on making the movie more violent and brutal, and then and not have a storyline at all. Because that's what it felt like to me. It just felt like they redid the first one without a story, and they just made everything more violent just because they brought in Carnage. And we do have Venom 3: The Last Dance coming out, and that one looks a lot better than this one, if you were to ask me. And Carnage, I've never been a big fan of him either. I've actually have hated him when I started to know about him. Like, if you were to ask me, I think he's worse than Venom. And Cletus Cassidy, I do not like him as a villain at all. And in my opinion, this movie was just stupid because of how they did it. And this is and I I've seen this movie twice now at least because I saw it once in theaters, and then I rewatched it in preparation for this video. I can't remember if I saw it one other time than that, but I've seen this movie at least twice now, and in my opinion, this has never been that great of a movie for me at all. Up next, at number 13, I have to give it to Morbius. So now, this movie, I actually did not watch this movie until the beginning of 2023. So yeah, I didn't even share my thoughts about this movie when it came out in 2022, as a matter of fact, because I was planning to go see it because I don't mind like these different Marvel verse type of movies, but I actually have heard some people. I heard a lot of people say nothing but negative things about this movie. And to be honest, this movie's pretty in my opinion. I think this is another movie where it's just horribly written, as a matter of fact. I do think it has a lot of redeeming quality though. Like I like all of like the creepy and suspenseful stuff, like the vampire aspect to Morbius. I don't know much about Morbius because I'm not an expert on like the Spider-Man stuff and whatnot, but yeah, I definitely see a lot of people putting this one below Venom Let There Be Carnage, and I totally understand why. But the reason why I put it over Venom Let There Be Carnage is because I feel like it has more of a story to it, and it doesn't feel like a direct rehash of another Spider-Man universe movie. And that's what Venom Let There Be Carnage I thought was. It just felt like a rehash of the first Venom with no story. And Morbius I thought had more of a story, but still I did not think that this movie was very well written either. Up next at number 12, I got my first hot take. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. A lot of you guys love this movie. Personally, I don't particularly like this movie at all whatsoever because this movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes, and that's just absurd for an animated movie, as a matter of fact. And to be honest, it didn't have like all the main characters that I in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. What I really wanted it to do, if I were to ever see this movie, is to follow where the first one ended, and then go about those main characters that got introduced into the first movie. And yeah, it didn't do that for me. And yeah, and in my opinion, I just thought it was a weak story. Coming in at number 11, another hot take. It is going to be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So now, when this movie came out, I enjoyed it just as much as everybody else did, but now that I've grown up over the years, I've grown to really not enjoy this movie a whole lot anymore. As a matter of fact, I do own this first one on Blu-ray, but I'm probably going to end up selling it because this is not one that I'll ever watch enough again for me to own it, as a matter of fact. But But yeah, I know a lot of you guys love these animated Spider-Verse movies, as a matter of fact, but personally, I've never been real huge about either one of these. I thought, yeah, yeah, both of these movies, just don't click for me, as a matter of fact, in my opinion. And to be honest, I'm kind of annoyed that they left it open for a third movie to add on to these. All right. So getting into the top 10 now. I would say for the most part, I would give these movies more of a positive reviews now. Positive reviews now. So coming in at number 10 is going to be Spider-Man 2. So this is the second Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie. So now I don't know I don't know how much of a hot take this is going to be, but because I don't know how high you guys put this one up on your list. But the reason why it's this low on the list, because aside from the four I put at the bottom, this one I thought just had like the weakest story out of all the ones that I think are good and I give positive ratings because yeah, it doesn't really feel there in some parts in this movie it doesn't really feel like a Spider-Man movie to me because in this one it's kind of about Peter not being able to use his powers anymore, and it's about him also losing MJ because of some stuff that he went through, and then she's trying to marry somebody else, but then at the end she decides to run off from that guy he wants to marry, and then she chooses Peter again, as a matter of fact. And yeah, I do think that this movie is pretty good, and I love Doctor Octopus as our main villain in this movie. I really do think he's probably one of the best Spider-Man villains ever, as a matter of fact. But yeah, this movie has a great villain, and I like how they picked up the characters from the last movie into the sequel, but in my opinion, this one just had like the weakest story. So this one ended up coming in at number 10 because I didn't think it was like it was like one of the absolute best Spider-Man movies. At number 9, I have to give it to The Amazing Spider-Man 2, as a matter of fact. So now, this one is kind of the opposite of Spider-Man 2. Like I like the villain, and I think it has the weakest storyline. But in this one, it's the opposite. I think this movie has a good storyline, but a weak villain, as a matter of fact. Our main villain in this one is Electro, and he's played by Jamie Foxx, as a matter of fact. But if you were to ask me, I do like Electro as a villain in the Spider-Man universe, but in this movie he's kind of a weak villain because he's the only villain in this movie, and I don't think he's that memorable of a villain, if you ask me. And yeah, it was kind of sad that Peter Parker lost his love, Gwen Stacy. I don't know why her name was Gwen Stacy and not MJ in this movie, but yeah, it sucks that she died though, and I kind of wish they kept her alive, and then we could have easily seen the both of them get married at the end, as a matter of fact. But yeah, like I said, I like the whole storyline of this movie, but just like Spider-Man 2, it has some flaws to it. Like I do think Electro is probably one of the weaker Spider-Man villains, and in my opinion, he's not super memorable of a Spider-Man villain, as a matter of fact. Up next at number 8, I have to give it to Madam Web. A lot of people hate this movie, but personally, I actually enjoyed it for what it was. My dad actually went and saw this movie with me, and he said he liked it as well, as a matter of fact. But yeah, this out of every Spider-Man villain that has gotten their own spin-off movie so far, Madam Web is the one I want to learn more about, because her story is super interesting, and this movie has just told me so much about her, and I really want them to do a sequel to this movie, but I'm not so sure how well that's going to work out because a lot of people did not like this movie. But personally, I thought it was a good movie because what I really want to see is those three girls that she protects throughout the entire movie become the Spider Women that they shown in the future. As a matter of fact, that's mainly what I want to see the most. And I hope at some point or in another Spider-Man universe movie, at least we'll get to see them all grown up. As a matter of fact, as all of these Spider Women. As a matter of fact, but yeah, I really do enjoy this movie, but I will agree with a good portion of you guys. It's probably not like top tier, but I still think this is a great movie though, and it's a good solid watch, but it's not like actual top tier for me, but I enjoy it for the most part though. Up next at number 7, I have to give it to The Amazing Spider-Man, as a matter of fact. So yes, I did think that this one was a little bit better than The Amazing Spider-Man 2, just because I feel like this movie had a good enough storyline, and I don't think Lizard is a weak villain like Electro is. But again, Lizard is not like a super memorable villain, but I wouldn't say he's a weak villain like Electro, but I wouldn't say that he's like a memorable villain either. But yeah, I really do like the whole story to this movie, but to be honest, I've heard some people say they prefer Tobey Maguire over Andrew, as a matter of fact. And I 100% agree. I think Tobey Maguire plays a better Spider-Man, and all three of them play good Spider-Mans, but I would say probably if I had to pick a least favorite, I would probably say Andrew Garfield, because these two movies, in my opinion, weren't like the best range and era of Spider-Man that they did, as a matter of fact. So for the most part, I think this movie is good, but still, I do think Andrew Garfield is probably the weakest Spider-Man out of all three of them, though. At number 6, Spider-Man 3. So now, out of every movie on this list, this one was the hardest one for me to place because moments of inside of this one are great. I know a lot of people say this one is the worst out of the Tobey Maguire trilogy, but in my personal opinion, I do think that this is like one of the better Spider-Man movies because even though it has Venom, and like I said earlier, I've never been real huge about Venom, but the main villain in here, but the other villain in here, Sandman, I like. He's probably one of the best Spider-Man villains out there, as a matter of fact, and I really do like his whole concept of how he's like created in sand and whatnot, and he can deform himself to fit through like small areas, as a matter of fact. And I really do think this wraps up the Tobey Maguire trilogy perfectly, but it was sad to see Harry go, as a matter of fact, even though he came in at the end to save the day. But one thing I didn't really like about this movie, and the same thing goes for the second movie that I forgot to say earlier. I didn't like how Harry was trying to kill Spider-Man, and he was still trying to kill Spider-Man in this movie as well, because his dad was the Green Goblin, and he had no idea that. And I think my least favorite thing about the Tobey Maguire trilogy is when Peter doesn't tell Harry about his dad a little bit later on in the second movie, as a matter of fact, because then he can just help Peter at the very end of the movie, as a matter of fact, if he found that out in the second movie. But since he didn't, and he ended up finding it out like towards the end of the third movie, that kind of made it like one of the weakest points of the entire trilogy. But yeah, other than that, I actually thought that this was a pretty great movie, and I think that this movie has improved on some of the other Spider-Man movies, if you were to ask me. Reaching the top 5, getting into the heavy hitters now. At number 5, I have to give it to the first Venom. So now, like I said earlier, I have never been real crazy about Venom, and I've never been a huge fan of Venom either. But this first Venom movie, I actually thought was pretty fun. Like I said, I don't dislike Venom, but I've never been real crazy about him either. But this first movie in particular, I actually bought this movie because this is one that I can watch at any time and have an absolute blast and a guilty pleasure with, because it's just so fun to like see Venom start out as like an anti-hero, and then he becomes a good guy and tries to take down the villain that's trying to kill him, as a matter of fact. But yeah, this first movie was really fun, and this is definitely one of the top tier Spider-Man movies for me in general. But in my opinion, these next 4 movies are a little bit better than the first Venom. But yeah, this movie is probably so far the best Spider-Man villain spin-off movie that we've gotten, because I did not care for Venom Let There Be Carnage. Morbius was and then Madam Web I really enjoyed, even though a lot of people hated it, as a matter of fact. But yeah, I still think the first Venom holds up as of right now, still as the best Spider-Man villain spin-off movie, as a matter of fact. Coming in at number 4 now, I have to give it to the very first Spider-Man movie that Tobey Maguire did, as a matter of fact. What an absolute gold star of a superhero origin story, as a matter of fact. And yeah, I'm not real huge about Spider-Man like all you other guys are, like all of you other people are, but I will agree though. This first movie still holds up even when it first came out. I thought this movie was so great when it first started when it came out. And I still enjoy it to this date. And I will say another one of the best Spider-Man villains in my opinion is probably Green Goblin, as a matter of fact. And I like how he's played by William Dafoe, even though I'm not real huge about William Dafoe. But I do think his portrayal as the Green Goblin is really good as well, as a matter of fact. And yeah, like I said, this movie is pretty great, as a matter of fact, and it still holds up to this date. Coming at number 3, reaching the top 3 now, is Spider-Man Homecoming, as a matter of fact. So now, very good movie. A really great MCU movie after Civil War. Because remember, Spider-Man's first appearance in the MCU was in Captain America Civil War. And this takes place after Civil War, so it's not really his origin at all whatsoever, because he was introduced in Civil War. And I really do enjoy this movie for what it is, as a matter of fact. And yeah, I like the inclusion of Tony Stark. It makes sense that he's in this movie because he was working a lot with Iron Man when we got introduced to Peter Parker and Captain America Civil War, as a matter of fact. And I really do enjoy this movie for what it is. And I think it's pretty fun. And this is definitely one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time. Coming in at number 2, my runner-up is going to be Spider-Man No Way Home. So now, I know a lot of you guys put this one at number 1 and also say it's the best Spider-Man movie in the MCU. I enjoy it as well, but I prefer another movie over it, as a matter of fact. And yeah, I do think it's pretty great that they brought like all three Spider-Mans back, and then they brought like all the villains from the past 2 Spider-Man movies that Tom Holland was in, and then they even brought him back from the Andrew Garfield movies and the Tobey Maguire movies, and then all the actors that played those exact same villains came back to reprise their role, and I thought that was pretty cool as well. But what I also realized in this movie, I feel like with this movie there's not like a whole ton of action going on in it, like some of the other Spider-Man movies, but I still think it's a pretty great movie though. And I feel like this one is also more about all the personal stuff that's going on inside of Peter, because I feel like he's getting like all of these emotions, like after all the villains escape, he regrets listening to Doctor Strange, and then he lost his aunt, and then he's worried about not getting his friends back because he had to do it to save them, as a matter of fact. But yeah, I am waiting for them to do a Spider-Man 4 in the MCU. Where is that Spider-Man 4? I know it's in the works. I want him to get back with Ned and MJ, because Zendaya kills it as MJ, as a matter of fact. But yeah, this movie is is very well stunning. As a matter of fact, this has a great storyline, and yes, it is real close to the number one spot if you ask me, and it is sad at the end, but still, I thought that this was a great Spider-Man movie for the most part. But for me, easily coming in the first place, I have to give it to Spider-Man Far From Home, as a matter of fact. So yes, I really enjoyed this movie for what it was, and I like how it was different. How we got in to how we got into like a new setting for Spider-Man. As a matter of fact, not in New York City. He's all the way out in Italy somewhere, I believe. I don't know which part of Italy. I can't remember which part of Italy exactly, but yeah, he takes a vacation with his friends to Italy, and the main villain in here, Mysterio, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, he does have an incredible performance as the villain in this one. And I really do also like the inclusion of Nick Fury in this movie. And what I also really like about this movie is how it's a little side story and a little, well, it's more of like a little story that takes place after Endgame, because this was the last movie in Phase 3, even though Endgame was supposed to be Spider-Man No Way Home is the one that capped up, is the, not No Way Home, Spider-Man Far From Home was the one that capped off Phase 3, because this one came out after Endgame and we were still in Phase 3, because they explained how, they talked about how Iron Man died, and then all of the high school students that faded away in Peter Parker's school, they explained what happened to them after they came back, and after 5 years, as a matter of fact. So yeah, I like how they tell all of that after Avengers Endgame. And yeah, like I said, this one is probably my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time, because I like how it's different compared to all the other Spider-Man movies, and I think Jake Gyllenhaal gives a great performance as Mysterio, and I do have a blast with this movie every time I watch it. So it comes in at number 1. Phew, guys, that was 14 movies I had to rank for this video. As a matter of fact, that was also 14 movies I had to watch in preparation for this ranking in general, as a matter of fact. But so yeah, guys, that is my ranking. Go ahead and share your list down below in the comment section. My list is not the right list; it's just my list, and I would love to see yours, as a matter of fact, guys. But so yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I have to say. As a matter of fact, be sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with your friends, because that'd really help on my channel greatly. And also, guys, those of you guys that are new to the channel, I do more than just movies and physical media related content. I also play video games, and I also do Lego related stuff. I do all sorts of stuff like that here on my channel, as a matter of fact. So if that kind of stuff is your speed to watch on YouTube, guys, please make sure you go watch a couple of my other videos. Give a couple of my other videos a chance, guys. And if you do end up liking this channel, guys, please make sure you give this video a big, huge thumbs up and hit that red subscribe button. Most importantly, press that notification bell so you don't miss anything in the future. And those of you guys that are not new to the channel, and if you haven't subscribed already, please make sure you go subscribe right after this video, guys. With any further ado, guys, I'm going to go bring you back to more videos, because more videos are on the way sooner rather than later, as a matter of fact, guys. But with that said, though, guys, take care, drink water, and stay safe, and I will see you all in the very next video. Bye.